Hi, today I'm at the beautiful villa here at District 9 and we're going to talk about why VinFast released VinFast VF8 into the US market, the United States market, with a City Edition with only 180 miles or about 300 kilometer range. Let me tell you why that happened, okay?
Take effing action, put it together, and subscribe to Tom Peng's channel on YouTube now. Yeah, I like it. It's crazy.
Actually, we're all very proud that VinFast released VF8 finally into the United States market. It's something that every Vietnamese person should be proud of. Finally, a Vietnamese high-tech product, an electric car, is being launched in the United States of America. I do a lot of reviews about the VinFast VF8. We have some problems with that car. I don't hate VinFast. I love VinFast. That's why I bought 2 of their electric cars so far, and I'm gonna buy more. And I love VinFast, but it does not mean that I'm gonna lie about my experience, right? I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened with my ownership experience with the VinFast VF8. I love the brand, but I'm gonna stay true. That's how you're gonna get honest reviews from me. We're all very excited about VinFast shipping the first 999 cars to the United States. And while those cars are being shipped to the United States, VinFast made an announcement that these 999 cars are actually the City Edition, meaning that they have less range, only about 180 miles of range. And this surprised a lot of people because a lot of Americans or Canadians, they put their deposit down for a VinFast VF8. They were expecting a much higher range, okay? They're expecting like over 250 miles or something like that, close to 300 miles. They want a high range VF8, but now VinFast is telling everybody that these early 999 cars only have 180 miles range. So what happened? Obviously, this news was not received very well by American buyers, by Canadian buyers. They're like, what the fuck? You promised me like a long-range car, but now you give me a short-range car. And a lot of buyers in North America, they decided to wait or cancel their reservations because it's not what VinFast promised. So this is a bit of a disaster, right? So let me explain what I think happened. So when VinFast produced their car, they have to test the range. And they have a few standards to choose from. There's the NEDC standard, that's the earliest standard. You see, these standards are established to test cars emissions, CO2 emission, to test cars pollution levels. And later on, they test the range of electric cars, right? And the NEDC standard is the oldest one. It is also the least reliable one because apparently what they do is they put the car on a testing platform, and then they let the car run for, I can't remember how long, but it was like maybe 10, 12 minutes or maybe 20 minutes. They don't turn on the AC, they don't turn on the lights. It does not in any way replicate the natural environment. So the testing results from NEDC tests generally are optimistic. So they generally produce a high range. So people realize this is not realistic. So now there's another standard, it's a European standard called WLTP. This standard is much better because they actually put the car on the testing platform and actually test at different speed, and actually they test it multiple times. So it produces a better result, but it's not really accurate. It's not really close to realistic use of the car. Nice swimming pool there. So let's go talk to the girls. Hi girls. Hello. Hi. So WLTP is commonly used as a testing standard. But in the United States, they use something else. It's called the EPA. It actually stands for the Environment Protection Agency. And the EPA rating is more stringent. They test the car more thoroughly, so they produce result that is much closer to realistic usage scenario. Hey guys, here's my VinFast VF8. right? So actually, we're here at this beautiful villa in District 9 because we're gonna make a video. We're gonna make a music video about my VinFast VF8. That should be exciting. All the girls are there, and we're gonna go talk to them later. Now, what else? So now you have three different standards: the NEDC standard, the WLTP standard, and of course the EPA standard. So if VinFast want to sell cars in the United States, they have to go through the EPA testing. And when they go through the EPA testing, they find out they only have 180 miles of range, about 300 kilometers or so. And this is a shocking news to everybody, because it is much less than the WLTP standards that they used before. And it's actually expected because EPA rating generally produce a lower number compared to WLTP. So when this happened, EPA rating for VinFast VF8 produces only about 180 miles of range, or about 300 kilometers. So when this happened, what does VinFast do? Of course, they issue out an announcement saying, hey, you know what? These cars are City Edition, all right? These cars are City Edition, and we'll come out with the longer range cars later. But actually, this is what I believe. The cars released in Vietnam and the cars released in the United States, they're exactly the same cars, right? They're exactly the same cars. And just because the EPA testing result is terrible, so VinFast made a marketing move to call these cars City Edition, but actually they're the same car. I have tested the car and I realized the car only has about 300 kilometers of range, roughly, if you drive like Peng, right? And I'm not surprised by it. But the fact is, the cars released in United States and the cars released in Vietnam, they actually have the same battery. They have an 88 kilowatt hour battery, and they're the same car. But the EPA testing result was a disappointment. So what should we do? Let's pretend that if I am VinFast, okay? Let's say VinFast is my company. Of course it's not, but let's say if it is, all right? What would I do? What would Peng do? Well, first of all, I believe something went wrong with that testing, right? Because with an 88 kilowatt hour battery, it's ridiculous to get 180 miles of range out of that test. So I believe something went wrong with that test. So we need to look at what happened with that test, okay? And secondly, I do believe that the car is not optimized, all right? So the car has an 88 kilowatt hour battery. It will give you a long range, but because the software is not optimized, so it's not very efficient. The car itself is not very efficient, so it wastes a lot of energy. So what VinFast need to do is focus on the optimization of the software so that it uses less energy or uses the energy more efficiently. So one thing I noticed is that Eco, Standard, and Sport modes, they actually are not that different. Because remember, I actually tested those three modes, because I actually tested the time it takes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3 different modes, and the results are actually amazingly similar. So I believe there's actually no difference between the 3 modes. If I'm responsible for VinFast, what I would do is I would optimize the software. I would actually reduce the power output for the eco mode by a lot, okay? If you want to conserve energy, if you want to give the car longer range, you gotta conserve battery usage, you gotta conserve power usage. So I would reduce the power output for the eco mode. That's the first thing I would do, right? And then retest. And the good news is that these City Edition cars in the United States, all they need is software tweaks. They just need to update the software and they would get the longer range. This is exactly what I would do, right? And for the American buyers, for the Canadian buyers, don't be shy from ordering the City Edition cars. Don't be shy from ordering them, because actually all they need is a software update. Actually, most of the problems with the VinFast cars can be fixed by updating the software, including this power issue, okay? So I think the cars in the United States, they're not the City Edition. They're like normal cars here in Vietnam, and they are capable of having a long range. It's just that the software needs to be updated, all right? So this is what I believe. And if you think I'm wrong, put it in the comments below. And I don't really give a shit, because I know I'm right, okay? So take some fucking action. The VinFast cars are really cool, and the City Edition are really the same cars, and don't be a fucktard.